let's ask Kaitlyn. Did you like have like any idea like of your dad's past alter ego or anything?
I knew
Dude, it gets brought up in bars and like once she got legal.
No, but I knew at a fairly young age because I had the cool dad growing up. When I was in school, when I was in grade school, they were known as classroom moms. And because of my dad, that term was changed to classroom parent because I had probably one of the only dads in the school district that came in for classroom parties. He was the fun parent in the room.
See, I was the same way.
Hey, brother, loved it.
He would let the boys climb him like a jungle gym, and come time for a field trip, if he was going to chaperone, he got the kids that weren't going to listen because they all fell in line for him.
YUNKJunk!
Here we are, setting the record straight. Every week, thank you so much to Wheatley Vodka taking care of us. We'll get through it about during the show about all the things that they have in store for LaRocca, but we're not here about LaRocca. We're just here about life. But Wheatley is giving us a voice, letting you guys know. Kaitlyn has broken into the Wheatley library as of, I think it was Friday was your first Wheatley drink. Took a minute, but it was also the day that our first podcast dropped. Big shout out there. Because we might not be here right now if it wasn't for
Wheatley Vodka.
And our very first guest,
Nick Vona,
who was the very first employee ever hired at LaRocca 7 years ago. And he is filling bartending right now with the Blackout Monday crew at LaRocca. No, there are no Wheatley specials right now. Another mention. But we got all kinds of crazy specials. So always go there. Always cool things Monday nights, but we'll get into that. Holiday weekend's over. It's beautiful outside.
It's finally flannel weather.
You got
Sweater
your flannel
weather.
on. I was like, wow.
Finally fall.
You know what? The summer was hot.
It was brutal.
Is it on the records of how hot it was? I mean, it's got to be there.
Probably up there with about 2 summers ago.
I know why you're saying
100
that.
days straight of, 30 days straight of 100-degree weather?
Was it really?
Yes.
I think that kind of weather fried my brains. I mean, and you don't get some of those brain cells back. They say if you do certain things, you lose brain cells. I believe if you're in 100-degree weather for whatever temperatures we were in for, you lose a lot more brain cells. So, but here we are, fall time. Starting this podcast, our second episode. Again, big shout out to Nick Vona. We wouldn't have been here today without him. Amazing having friends. Crazy weekend. The holiday's over. A lot of parties booked. So this is going out for a lot of new friends and family that know about me, that know about LaRocca, that know about the best bartender on Manayunk, unofficial contest. There's 2 bartenders that.
But also, speaking of parties booked, big shout out to Enrique. Happy birthday. He just had his birthday party at LaRocca this past weekend. Happy birthday, Seaster.
Seaster, happy birthday, brother. Many more. That's why we love Manayunk. That's why we love the community here, because it's just so cool. And we make friends literally from the minute we get here. Like Enrique. Enrique was somebody who I would have loved to have hired, but we didn't. Somebody in the chain that didn't get to me, but we became friends for years. Years and years and years we became friends. So that kind of leads me into our guest for today. Again, thanks to Wheatley Vodka, shout out. Sometimes you have friends and you don't need to see them every week. There's some friends that I don't want to see every week, just saying. There's some friends are cool to see all the time. Some friends you don't see for years. Some friends you go your whole lifetime before you were born without friends. But you may not have been born if it wasn't for one of the reasons that Wheatley has us here, which is pro wrestling. Pro wrestling. And the people that have made Philadelphia the staple, the effing legit staple of pro wrestling. speaking of effing staple, Wheatley told me to stop cursing, don't drink Miller Lite. Fireball was okay because they're involved. So just here we are, Wheatley. How you doing? And we're going to have a good fucking time. So yeah, pay attention. Here we are, Philadelphia version 32 years ago. Somebody hit me up, podcaster. I'm like, that's not a podcaster. That's one of the reasons you're on the planet. Well, that sounded creepy.
It's a little weird.
Could I get child support?
That's more than a little weird.
Probably it's expired. But for people like this, Philadelphia has become the staple of professional wrestling in the United States. WrestleMania was just here. Tequila Mania was just here. Rock versus Kevin Hart. But people like our first and only guest today are legends, in my mind, for what they did, what they do. Did and do. Does that cover it all?
Did and do.
Did and do. Past, present, future.
Did, do, will do.
Past, present, future. That's what I meant to say. So we're going to get into the future at this point. At this point, I'm so effing excited to bring in my friend. Some of you guys know him as one half of the Hell Riders. Some people know him as Chubby Dudley. They kind of got famous a little bit. I know him as both, but my friend Bay, who is amazing to join us today from Nashville, Tennessee, brother. So cool to have you. And you are one of the staples of Philadelphia. You and I talk about it all the time. Shout out to you.
Hey, no, shout out to Wheatley. So good. We drink it neatly, right? Come on.
Dude, he knows all the phrases.
I know the jingle.
He's one of those young kids that go, oh, I know all the cheers. Cheers, my brother.
Cheers to you all.
I'm having a mule.
Woo.
I'm having a Monday night mule.
That's the first time I had Wheatley. That's absolutely delicious.
Dude, it's awesome. Brand new. And as you know, the official tequila of the WWE. I knew.
That's awesome.
I forget when it was. It was during The Rock and Cody. And I don't know how much you were watching back then of the lead to WrestleMania. I saw some bumps being taken outside by the trailers. You see Stone Cold. You see, I don't know, maybe the Taker on the trailer. You're like, yeah, that's normal. And then you see Wheatley vodka. And you're like, no. These guys are the kings of placement. Ain't a chance in hell that got on there accidentally. So I started doing my research right away, went out to the local distributor who I finally found and said, let me talk to somebody at Wheatley. I don't know anybody at Wheatley. And then, Kaitlyn, what do I do in those situations?
You just keep hunting.
Keep hunting like my dog. He's a hunter. As long as he knows where the treat's going.
Yeah, he's not really a hunter.
No,
a little too lazy for that.
He's lazy. No. So, Monday Night Raw, Wheatley vodka, Bay, Chubby Dudley. Dude, you guys should have been, let's go right there. You guys should have been TWA champions had the promotion stayed the same.
Lived?
Yeah. And you never want to talk about dead things and whatever. And, not that it's dead, just saying. But I just think because you guys were new, we had such a young crew of boys, and I wasn't in one of them. I wasn't in the locker room that way. But I just think local. Because that's what Joel was trying to do. And that was your intro, was Ringmasters.
Yeah, I mean, the scary part is, like, I was in that freaking school for 2 years. And the funny thing is, and like 32 years later, it's funny to laugh about now, but, the big thing you need to know to do in the wrestling business is you have to flip. You got to be able to, like, jump and flip in the air, land on your back. Well, I can't freaking do it. I can do it, but I go off to the side. I favor one side. I can't do it straight. if somebody's there and they suplex me, I can go over. If they hip toss me, I can go over. But if
Really?
me, myself, and I go to do it alone, I can't do it.
Could
I
you get
freeze up.
in a tight rotation over on a hip toss, but not a backdrop?
No, I can do a backdrop too.
Okay.
But because I couldn't do it myself, the late great Larry Winters and Joel Goodhart, who's still with us, they would not let me debut. So they had me in the freaking school for 2 years where people would come in and 3-4 months later get their first match. And I watched this happen for 2 years.
How old were you when you started the school?
I was 20 years old.
So pro wrestlers, you backyard people, whatever. Here's a guy, 20 years old, didn't try to do it when he was 14 with Jeff Hardy, and became something. So just saying.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I was trying to do music.
Right.
I was
Weren't we all?
trying to, I was playing guitar. I was trying to do music through the 80s. And it was around 1990. And I was always like a chubby guy. And, in the music business, to make it, you had to be like 100 pounds soaking wet. And that was one of my legs. So I was like, you know what? Like, my second love, my backup plan in life was pro wrestling. So I sold all my music equipment and got my down payment to go to wrestling school. That was my college.
God. Who was your connection to get into Ringmasters? Were you watching the show? Were you listening to Wrestling Radio with Joel?
I had no idea about any of it.
Okay.
I was oblivious. I was a wrestler, which is crazy.
You got into the school before you knew about the radio show?
Once I found out about the school and everything, then I knew about the radio show.
That's interesting.
The person that got me my tryout and everything was the Rock and Rebel.
Next subject.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is ironic. I literally looked up from the lift the other day and I texted you. Dude, I just went past Rebel's parents' house. Yeah. How creepy was that? It was just.
He worked with my brother-in-law. That's what happened. He worked with my brother-in-law for Haverford Township.
Yeah.
And when I was starting to say, because I lived with my sister, my mother had just passed away. I lived with my sister and my brother-in-law, and I was starting to say, like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell my equipment. I'm going to become a pro wrestler. And my brother-in-law was like, I work with some guy who says he's a wrestler. So he introduced us. He told me all about Goodhart and the TWA, and he gave me Joel's number and called Joel, set up my tryout, and the rest is history.
Nice. I mean, a lot of us, well, let me backtrack. So the way that you and I reconnected, you run an amazing podcast. You were the very first podcast I was ever on in my life. I was asked to do, I looked back at my Facebook messages, 2, and they weren't wrestling related. They had nothing to do with wrestling, not music. Okay. And not me. You move on at certain things, whatever. You kind of hounded me, and Brooke, our girl Brooke, one of her close friends, what's her? Brooke and Sarah used to work there. Brooke hey, some guy is sending you a message, and he wants to talk with you about wrestling. Now, I would get some wrestling messages from super nice guys. First of all, we're friends. I suck on Facebook. I don't go on much. I don't answer much. But you were persistent, and I'm like, all right, let me go on. And first I had to look you up. I'm going, I remember that kid, and clearly we're not kids now, but I remembered back in the TWA days, because of your gimmick was similar to what maybe how your father looks or whatever. Well, I mean, it was just like I loved Max, I loved the band, just the look boys, whether I knew you guys or not, because I was, as we said, I used to do so many things. You, though, were one of the up and comers. There was a couple of yous. See in Red. Waldo had a very interesting following, and I think in time could have gotten over very well. But there were, like you saw, called Jimmy Janetti. There was a core. The a-holes like Chuck Williams, kind of a bully. And then you had the other people that would help. And so I did your podcast, amazing podcast, cleared some cobwebs, cleared some mental hurdles, some anxiety issues, still, always have them. But it was just so great. And then it led us into one of the things that you're doing right now, which, because I left off 2 names on purpose, well, 4 names technically, about what we just did. And that is Joel Goodhart, the promoter of TWA, the host of Wrestling Radio, and friend. And Larry Winters, local pro wrestling legend. No one worked more minutes and took less bumps in Philadelphia than Larry Winters, I think. Larry was a cool dude. Pepsi or Coke? Where did he work for years? He worked somewhere for years. Just a nice guy. I always liked him. And then 2 of my favorites, and I think they even worked with you in the school because I watched their podcast with you, is Johnny Hotbody and Tony the Hitman Stetson, who I have a affinity of love for just different reasons. I marked out to Johnny when you reconnected us. Just marked out, just going, hey, it's so cool to talk to you. Like, you were a nutty guy. That now that you're normal, it's so cool to be.
Is he normal?
I had no idea that guy was normal. Tony, I learned the business before Joel. Never made a living at it, nothing like that. Tony, I did I think a tag match, either Variety Club or somewhere. Me and Kalua and Tony and somebody. And Tony was just the most professional human being in a locker room for being a tough Italian South Philly dude. You know what I mean? Like, mad respect to that guy. He, and I heard the stories about him laying it into you guys in the school, beating the crap out of you. But what, 4 people? Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Actually 5. DC Drake.
Dude, I named a cat after Don. How did I leave off Don? Don was my favorite because I wrote his entrance music. Joel goes, I need something that's like a half hour long. Because he had that crazy, insane entrance. So, sorry, DC. Love you. But your podcast, where you got me on your podcast, that was our reconnection, and it's leading into other things. I'm not sure, but so where can we find you? Where can my friends, Kaitlyn's friends, because we're going to get into Kaitlyn's connection to wrestling in a bit. She's not just the eye candy of the show, but she's,
and a hell of a
she's the eye candy of the show.
So you can just go to Chubby Dudley Official on YouTube and Facebook. It's crazy. Like, so when I started doing the podcast, like, the whole Chubby Dudley world has been like setting on fire, and there's like a whole community now starting on Facebook, and all these like loyal, amazing people, like, every day just want to hear from me. And now I've been doing like little short videos, like they ask me questions, I do videos, and people are going nuts. And like, it's like all of a sudden I have like all these new family members. It's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome. You deserve it. You're like the most chill guy. Like, there's 3 of us here in this room, and 2 of them are guys, and only 1 is chill, and it ain't me. So you have a great vibe, brother. You do.
You know what? It was your interview that really set it off, because we literally did a 5.5 hour live interview. I don't even think we took like a pee break or anything. I think we just kept going.
We might have laid when I probably should have just bailed. It was probably 4:50 or something. It was late, and we did, and we could have just ended and said, "Hey, let's do a part 2," because the reaction I got, because people, pro wrestling 2024, it's on fire. It is on fire again.
It's unbelievable.
And they loved it. They loved you and I connection. Hadn't spoken in all these years. We didn't do a pre-interview. We just were setting the record straight, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And
it was.
It led me to Wheatley and all of this. Again, shout out to Wheatley Vodka. I'm going to take a sip here. How you doing?
Hey, I
Wheatley
mixed
Vodka,
some
the
Wheatley
official-
with some sweet tea.
Love it. Wheatley Vodka, the official vodka of the WWE. So you were a young kid. Frankfurt Ave, man, we were so close together because I had places up the street from Frankfurt Ave,
Mm-hmm.
and then being down there, and now here we are, 32 years. I do your podcast, and we become just tight, like we had been, like we had always been in contact, and we hadn't been. We didn't know each other. I'm sure we always were respectful and said hi.
Yeah.
And probably not a lot more. We're both Delco guys.
Well, yeah. It's crazy how many like similarities that we both have. And
Music.
back then in those early ECW days and like the tri-state days, you were really like bebopping around and running around. But in the ECW days when you were more from an established part of the company as one of the original owners. Again, you were like
Do you
always
know
running
that
around.
you used to technically work for me, as you just said that?
How about
I'm
that?
just
How
saying,
about
brother. Sorry, I didn't get your 1099 out on time.
Wait, on those $35 paydays.
You were getting 35. No wonder I was underpaid.
See that? See that? The scary part is if you talk to indie workers now, they're getting paid less than that.
You're lying to me.
I swear to God.
You're lying to me. So
I swear on my Wheatley.
I don't want to talk about Johnny or Tony, or definitely not DC or Larry, but Johnny or Tony right now. What Joel was paying them, not we, because in the ECW we started them. I think it's slightly less.
Yeah.
I'd really have to look back at my books. They weren't making enough to pay They were making just enough to pay their own cell phone bill, pretty much back then.
Right.
Which those two guys were doing whatever the promoter asked of them, or whatever crazy ideas these two guys had in store for each other. So what are you doing, man? These five guys, these legends, these four wrestlers, and Joel, like the ringmaster of Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. You're doing this whole.
It's crazy. Like it's started about 6 months ago. I do a lot of these wrestling podcasts, and
You're a legend.
It's funny because like I've been coming across a lot of people who are old CWA fans and early ECW fans, which is kind of shocking to me. But they'll start asking me questions about Joel and Johnny and Tony and Larry and Don. And on one podcast, usually I'm sitting here and I'm having a cocktail or two or maybe six, and I just fucking snapped and I went on a tirade about, these guys that they set the record straight in Philly. Let's put it that way. They set the bar and they set the whole storyline for
Absolutely.
Philadelphia hardcore wrestling.
Tape traders.
And they set the path to what became ECW. But they've never been honored. Nobody's ever paid tribute to them. And there's a lot of people in that, what was known as the ECW arena, which is now the 2300 arena. So he said, you know what? And I'm going to curse, sorry, Wheatley, but these fucking guys, they deserve to be honored. Let's get a banner.
Yeah,
Let's start a campaign and get a banner raised in those rafters. This way, because people come from all around the world to go into that arena, and let them see the names that really set forth what they're coming here
I love
30 years later to see. So it's like kind of taken on like a whole thing now. So then I started a petition campaign to get it going.
Raise the banner.
Started back in 2300 Arena. And then I started trying to reach out to them, and they were avoiding me. Finally talked to somebody, and my big mouth kind of got me in trouble. I said, let's get 1,000 signatures on the banner, and then I'll approach the arena. Well, the arena said, well, we're going to call your bluff. Let's see you get 1,000 signatures. If you can do that, we'll raise the banner. So We are currently at 540 signatures right now.
That's amazing because, for one, that's how many generations is that separated from us?
Yeah.
That have been put through some great entertainment, some great wrestling. But to honor these 5 people, and Joel had nothing to do with ECW. Like,
No.
I hate when people say, "Oh, Joel's Goodheart changed and folded into ECW." No, that is not what happened. And I love Joel. I'm so happy to reconnect with him, thanks to you. But there would be none of us in that building if it were not for Joel Goodheart.
Yeah.
Just a fact. And that,
Truth.
and Johnny and Tony, again, that South Philly feud. DC and Larry felt a little bit more national because you could see it in the tape traders.
Yeah.
On Meltzer and Keller and Feinstein. You could always see those matches sold. And I was doing Goodhart's merchandise for TWA, and we always had the bloody matches, Puerto Rico, and we had Johnny. And the biggest seller was always early on was DC and Larry. So that you're doing this for these, not for them, but that you've started this, my friend. That's some amazing shit, brother. Like that's some amazing stuff.
I mean, those guys, I mean, for me, I was a 20-year-old kid when I discovered Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. I didn't even know, which is weird. I still kind of scratch my head because, with a musical background, I knew about, kind of like the independent music scene, bar scene. I was a huge fan and supporter of local music coming up through the ranks, through the bars, your Cinderellas, your Britney Foxes, Heaven's Edge. I was there. I was at the Empire for all those bands. So the fact that I didn't realize or know there was like an independent underground wrestling world to support until I got in. So I missed
Were you a magazine guy?
Stuff.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hold your thought. You were an Apter guy.
I was an
wasn't
Apter guy,
written
but
in
I
there. We didn't know.
I didn't know about the sheets. I didn't know there were sheets. My whole eyes and world was opened up.
Gotcha. Were you a tape trader at all? Did you like New Japan type stuff?
I became a
flippy
tape trader,
shit, which I love. Like Liger is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love Liger.
Yeah.
I was never truly a true big Japanese guy. I was always trying to get like that old like Memphis stuff and stuff like that, like UWF and Mid South, and I always loved that older style.
So talking about the old style again, let me go back to the TWA. Man, let's see how long ago it was. A lifetime ago when we found this promotion. Well, I knew Joel. You found the promotion, and all of a sudden we're doing a podcast, and there's this rumbling, the table shaking, and all of a sudden on the screen it's flashing. Hashtag one and done. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And Wheatley Vodka, pardon my thing because you were with WWE. We'll cut this shit out, or you can cut it out. But holy crap, I'm hearing something about something that's bringing life back to a lot of independent wrestling thoughts in Philadelphia. The buzz. Let's just say the buzz.
Let's put it this way. There's a major fucking buzz.
Not just Kaitlyn. Wait, drum roll. Sorry.
All I'm going to say is this, because this is all I can say at this point. Hashtag one and done.
Yeah.
The official announcement will be made September 28th.
Wait a second. You're supposed to drag that out till the 10 o'clock hour. And then, run.
Believe me, that's a drag because there's so much to go with that announcement. It's unfreaking believable. I mean, there's it's like a half dozen things.
I know. More. And I've always known what what your end result was, which is the way it should be. So I have small insight, but I'm so excited, and to be involved, I'm just honored and excited. And you got me hanging on pins and needles because I don't ask you.
You have no like. I am on the phone literally average 5 times a day with this particular person and putting things together. I'm being cursed out numerous times a day, and this is just going to be fucking mind blowing, and I can't wait to announce it and build it, make it happen, and just have it all for the world to see.
Meeting you via our Zoom podcast. Cheers, brother. Cheers, Kaitlyn. Has changed the direction of so much of my life.
Yeah.
Such as being involved in that from it's just perfect so far. I always wanted to know back then what I didn't want to know. I wanted to watch Buddy Landell and Buddy Rogers, the last show that got canceled.
Yeah.
I always wanted to know what, and I think somebody told me, but then I ran into Joel somewhere, and he explained that to me. Yeah. And so I don't want to give stuff away. I like the surprise. Speaking of surprise, you watched the current product?
So when I ended up starting my own promotion in like the mid 90s, and I ran for a little bit, and then when I left ECW as a Dudley, I kind of like, because I was getting married and becoming a father, I kind of like stepped away for a couple years.
Had to pay the bills.
Had to pay the bills. And then I went back in and I started promoting, and I was promoting full time. I was trying to really follow in Joel's footsteps. And I ran for 3 years, and same thing as Joel. I lost. I was delivering pizzas at Papa John's up in Plymouth Meeting, and lost close to $30,000 that I didn't have. Literally was sitting there typing up a press release on my computer in my house, and Pico came and shut my electric off, and that was the end of Liberty All-Star Wrestling. And that was 2002. So when I shut the doors, because, and I'm sure you can probably testify to this, there's something about the freaking wrestling business. Like when it's in your blood and you're in it, you're in it. And there's like just you become a different person. And I'm kind of like that now because I'm back kind of in it. But I really didn't watch it for 20 plus years. Like here and there, a match that I saw a buzz about that I wanted to see. But in the last 6 months, I've started now again watching these WWE. They call them. They're not pay-per-views now. They're PLEs.
Yeah, right.
I've been watching these PLEs, and I've been enjoying it. It's a different business. It's a different product. But I'm really looking forward to when they hop onto Netflix, and we're going to get a whole new version of the Attitude Era coming.
I believe so. So, Kaitlyn here, obviously, is the product of back to the TWA real fast.
Yeah.
One of his ring announcers, I don't even know how many he had. It was Joel and Kath. I don't know who else.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, Tierson and Todd in the Civic Center.
Yeah.
They would need, I think Tierson would do a couple matches. Todd would always want to do one match.
I made Tierson one of my referees.
Is that right?
He used to have the
Michael Tierson.
Yeah, he used to have the daily news column.
Yes,
the weekly wrestling column. At that time when I was promoting, so and he used to come out to the shows, and I became really great friends with Michael. And I'm like, Mike, put a fucking ref shirt on, become a referee. And we used to let him ref 1 or 2 matches a show, and he was great.
One of the reasons that I love this era of our lives is because of Joel. Joel had, as I said, one of his referees was Kathy Donahoe. And man, we would mess with her. Russell, my best friend, rest in peace, would do the music, a lot of actual shows at times. I had a production company, Star Studio Productions, shout out, blah, 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 how you doing, closed. And we did this show finally in Pine Hill. Remember, there was just something on
Pine Hill Punishment.
Yeah, man. And it was my best friend Russell's wedding. Stephanie, if you're watching this, I'm still sorry. Vincent, I love you. Not that you'll remember that in 2 minutes. Sorry.
Birthday's this month.
But he loves Pierre Robert. He doesn't even know who Michael Tierson is. Him and Jackie Bam. He's like, oh, we're best friends. And Vincent is. But back then, Pine Hill Punishment, I had the late, great Kevin Sullivan. He was working with Eddie. And Eddie and I were on great terms back then. I said, don't da-da-da-da-da. And it brings Kevin in, da-da-da-da-da. And they go out. And all he told her later, I think, was, yeah, he said that, you were smart. You were cool with anything that happened. She had never been involved in anything in her life, her mother. And if she didn't have that anger with me that night, because she really wasn't being involved, but Kevin chased her around the ring a couple times, ironically, and Eddie's just laughing his ass off. I'm laughing my ass off. But all of that was Kaitlyn being the daughter of Stevie Wonderful and Kathy Donahoe. Isn't that weird?
A little weird.
Let's ask Kaitlyn. Let's ask Kaitlyn. Did you have any idea of your dad's past alter ego or anything?
I knew
Dude, it gets brought up in bars and once she got legal.
No, but I knew at a fairly young age because I had the cool dad growing up. When I was in school, when I was in grade school, they were known as classroom moms. And because of my dad, that term was changed to classroom parent because I had probably one of the only dads in the school district that came in for classroom parties. He was the fun parent in the room.
I was the same way.
Hey, brother, loved it.
He would let the boys climb him like a jungle gym, and come time for a field trip, if he was going to chaperone, he got the kids that weren't going to listen because they all fell in line for him.
We were on Sports Channel back then, or just started Sports Channel a lot, some of it. And we were done Sports Channel, kind of. But her classmates' fathers and mothers were watching, and when we hit on Sports Channel at first, we really hit because they missed Prism. Remember Prism, obviously.
Yeah.
But they missed Prism, so they kind of knew that was that. I mean, so she had an idea.
I had an idea, but you also have to understand all of my pictures with my father as a kid, he's like this, and I'm sitting on his arm. There's no, oh, look at this. It's.
But wait, here's the funny thing.
Macho muscle man with the kid on his arm here.
She's also heard me say, Wheatley, turn off. I created that fucking company. About ECW, she's heard me say that there was 3 of us originally, and we needed a money mark, and
I came.
Let's also be clear: your engagement picture is still on the dining room in our house, and it's not a normal engagement picture.
So, April 25th, 1992, Tabor Hall, double ring battle royal for the first ECW heavyweight champion ever. I screw Tony in the one battle royal, pull the rope down. Sal goes over. Second battle royal's Jimmy. They have a match. I almost killed Jimmy for some reason. His foot, I'll never forget. I'm like, I'm dead. And it was such a gentleman. And we got engaged that night at the Marriott. Remember, we all used to go back to the Marriott. Everyone was told to get off the floor. Certain songs. Next song. We had champagne on the tables, and we got engaged. So whoever was there at Marriott that night will still pay attention, still remember. But
yes, but let's also be clear: you are still in your jacket, your coat, and my mother
for
is
a wedding. Well, it wasn't
your,
a wedding.
Your engagement picture, and my mother is in her little black vest with a bow tie.
Bro, who was the photographer? Who was the photographer?
I remember your mom with the bow tie. Yeah,
stocky dude. Thick beard, glasses. He took a bump in the Civic Center.
George Tahinos?
Is that what his name was?
Short dude?
Not George Napolitano, not
No.
not Bob, not Apter.
George.
This guy, he was at all of our
George-
shows, and he took a bump, I think from Sheeker Abbey one night. But he was at every one of our shows. He took wedding
Or
pictures.
do you mean like the video camera guy? Or
Wasn't his
magazine?
name? We didn't have a video camera guy back then. For Joel's shows, for some of the that was ECW. I believe I might have the only video of.
I'm talking Joel's shows. Yeah.
Because the next day Johnny wins the belt.
Okay.
Jimmy wins the belt in the double ring battle royal face off with Sal. I'm managing Sal. The next morning, Johnny wins the belt from Jimmy. Do you remember that? Were you there? That was April 25th, April 26th of 92.
That was my birthday.
25th. I remember that now.
My 22nd birthday. Yeah.
You had to have been there. It was Tabor Hall.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
I was totally there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that was her introduction. So more recently, though, so she got more into the WWE. Do you remember, did you see any of who was on top back then? It was Kevin Owens, Brock,
Kevin Owens, you had
Goldberg, Jericho. They were doing the list. I think it was just after the list.
the trio. The crazy trio.
Oh,
Biggie.
the Shield?
No. The trio. Biggie.
Oh, God. New Day.
New Day. New Day was.
They were massive.
New Day
back
was
then.
the big.
They were selling all that cereal and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And,
Studios.
Yeah, bro. She got into that. We ended up watching a lot of Monday nights together.
who's the one that like he always had the creepy bit?
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt was on top back then too.
I think I asked you the other day in a text or a couple of weeks ago. You like the new stuff with the Wyatt Six?
Honestly, I like seen very minimal clips online. So I don't watch Raw. So once Raw starts on Netflix, I'm gonna start watching it.
Hey, Steven, what, Wheatley? I think we should get Bay to watch Raw. That's a great idea. Any ideas? You're pretty smart coming up with ideas. You do it. Okay. Cool. So here's what we're going to do from now on. Monday nights at La Roca. And I don't shout at La Roca. That's not what this podcast is about.
You should be shouting out LaRocca because I
But
will.
this isn't about just La Roca. It is Wheatley. Thank you very much. This is about pro wrestling, especially today and old friends and stuff like that. But what we're going to be doing Monday nights is Wheatley Vodka has been graciously enough to get permission from the WWE to co-sponsor whatever you want to call our Monday night Raw / Mules, although it looked creepy in print. What we're doing is we're going to open up our Monday nights, bro. Monday Night Raw on one TV upstairs. We're dedicating a bar. Another TV is going to be these podcasts, which will premiere on our very first week. Monday night, what is today? The 9th, on the 16th of September. Bay Ragni, Chubby Dudley, the one half of the Hell Riders. Like, that's how I know. Just seriously, we're going back to the TWA, guys, and we're bringing it up to 2025, where I looked at hashtags, and again, I don't know what it means. Hashtag one and done. We'll figure that out as time goes on.
Oh, you'll know.
But Monday Night Raws, I'm going to do
weeks.
this whole thing, brother. We're going to have Xbox on one of the TVs. Monday Night Raw competitions. How cool is that? And PLEs, they might, I hope they don't, ever show up on one of the other TVs, replaying an old show. But yeah, the whole upstairs bar is going to be dedicated to Monday Night Raw. We got big plans and industry night. Who are we looking for then?
Who are we looking for?
Industry night is our family.
Yeah, those are our people. That's the Nick Lonas of the world.
Enrique.
Janet.
Janet. I love me some Janet. I have a girl. Not a girl, a woman. Excuse me. Sorry. She's the only one I let wear Boston Celtics anything into my restaurant. I love her that much. Because there's three things I hate in life: Dallas Cowboys, Los Angeles Lakers, and the Boston Celtics. So, Wheatley, thank you for hating them along with me. And if you don't, whatever. Cheers, my brother. Cheers,
Or just
Kaitlyn. You got a little bit
pretend.
more? Yeah. So, modern day, you watch from a peripheral. We, thanks to you in part, have gotten busy on Monday nights with wrestling. Like, no one ever asked for it before. I didn't promote anything, as you know. So now we're doing this. Kaitlyn's going to be like spearheading a lot of it, which is amazing with Wheatley. Got all these specials. And I want to bring in some people. I'm hoping you'll be one of the guests. We'll have like some watch alongs for like an hour or something like that. And for your following, I need to send our following. Tell me again, I'm not ending this yet. Just tell me again the best way for them to follow you, my brother.
Chubby Dudley Official on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
We're trying to come up. Somebody asked the other day, they're like, what can we name community like that we're building? And I told a funny story. Kaitlyn, close your ears.
I've probably heard so much worse.
Back in the days of when I was a Dudley in ECW, I happened to have a few ladies that would, befriend me.
It is what it is.
Befriend, we'll say.
Shout out to Coco. You're a beautiful girl.
Yes. This is way before Coco.
I know. I know.
But but they started like dressing like a Dudley. And we were at one of the shows and somebody like peeked out from the dressing room door and they're like, yeah, why are there girls out there dressed like Dudleys? I said, oh, they're with me. And Sabu looks at me and he looked outside and he looked at me and goes, you got chubby chasers. And that became my female friend's
before,
name.
What's his name? Hogan's, Awesome. Wasn't that a Mike Awesome gimmick towards the end of his WCW?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like a Philadelphia from Modern Family. I asked and answered the question. My bad. It was. He did a chubby chaser thing. So you were first. I was first.
This was 96. I was first.
Yeah. So what's your, so now we've called what you watch currently. I get you. Recently, I think it was 2 weeks ago, because I wanted to come see you. One of your old stomping grounds down in Maryland had a big show. And wasn't that you part of that? You were, or was it Maryland? ECWA?
Oh, yeah, in Delaware.
Delaware, my bad.
Newark, Delaware. Yeah.
They're all 95 south to me. So.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that was so amazing.
Do many of your followers, this is a fanboy question, do many of your followers from YouTube come out and see you? And I know you're rarely on the East Coast.
Yeah, you know what? No, I was kind of shocked. Nobody came to that. But they're kind of spread all over.
Sure,
so,
no, I get that.
Yeah. But I'm hoping, for this thing that's going to be announced, they're going to come out of the woodwork because they have plenty of time to make travel arrangements.
How many times do they need to make travel? Just one and done, or
one and done?
That's all. That's all.
That's it.
One and done.
It's very simple. Very simple.
That's interesting. So that's very cool. I can't wait to be updated on that. Hopefully on Monday nights, all these crazy things, including, and this is going to just kill my staff. We're including industry night with this Monday night mule thing. We're going to be doing, can't say it because it's a competitor. But come in, stay tuned to our Instagram, YUNKJunk. Follow our website, LaRoccaManiunk.com. Just stay tuned for all that nonsense. I don't want to forget it at the end. So,
I got to say, Brussels sprout tacos at La Rocca.
I hear good things. Are you a Brussels sprout girl? Not you're.
In my adult years, I've become a Brussels sprout girl. We didn't eat them growing up.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't want them in my refrigerator.
Yeah,
they stink up my refrigerator or something. They contaminate shit.
But there's a lot of vegetables that I ate growing up that you wouldn't eat. Broccoli.
What's your favorite
cauliflower,
vegetable? Right
carrots. My favorite
Right now.
vegetable right now. I don't want to look at them most days.
now. I got you, because you're in the kitchen a lot.
I
He's got a big hospitality background. So let me ask you this on the fly. What's your favorite vegetable, right? One vegetable, you're going to take a spoon, you're on a desert island. You can only have one spoonful of one vegetable.
That's not fair. Cherry tomatoes, they're sweet and they're healthy, and somehow they're a vegetable.
And on a desert island, that might make you live an extra 2 or 3 seconds.
It's a cherry tomato. It's like eating fruit. It's eating a vegetable. You're eating a sweet. You're eating something unhealthy. It's great.
So is Wheatley vodka. So anyway, no, come on, give me a vegetable, brother.
I don't know if this is a vegetable, but I guess it is. It's funny. It's something my grandmother used to make, and I used to like watch her make it, and the smell and everything. I was like, oh my God, it smells amazing. And I tried it as a kid. I was like, oh no. Now I could eat it every freaking day. And that's eggplant.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Yeah, no, not me. I got you. And I'm not a big veggie person, but I love the smell of cauliflower. Can't stand it. Can't eat it. What about a fruit? Are you a fruit guy? And that's okay to say because I'm in Manioc.
You fruit, bananas.
Yeah. What about you?
Bananas
You're a
or
fruit
oranges?
girl.
I am fruit. I eat mostly fruits and vegetables, so it's just why it's hard to pick one.
But
If
you
I
have to
pick
one.
like one fruit,
You got one fruit tonight. That's it.
apples. Granny Smith apples. And it's like a very specific apple. It's not all apples. It's Granny Smith apples.
Now I know why my inventory went down making apple and
Who knew there
bananas.
was like 20 different apples too? Like every time I turn around, there's like a different kind of apple all of a sudden.
And they're not
I just
all
knew
good.
red and green.
Mhm.
Green. Granny Smith. It's the only green apple. There's about 30 red ones though.
All kinds of different the sizes, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. You seen any good movies lately?
You know, we just watched the other night. It's funny. I grew up in Upper Darby,
Yeah. Shout out to Upper.
and I went all through St. Alice grade school with Jamie Kennedy. We're still very good friends to this day. So
Don't say it.
I said that Coco's has been a fan of his. And I said to her the other night, I said, you know what? We got to watch Malibu's Most
The
Wanted. 'Cause
Boo.
She never saw it.
The Boo.
Be rad.
The Boo.
And so we watched that the other night, and she's like a hardcore like cinematic movie person, and she loved it. So I was like, oh, thank
What
God.
movies hold up to you? Because that one holds up. Step Brothers holds up.
Mean Girls.
You're 20. Mean Girls holds up.
Mean Girls. White Chicks.
White Chicks.
Mean Girls was written by Tina Fey about my high school. I went to high school with
Tina Fey is one of the funniest people. Her and Amy Poehler together.
My 10th birthday, a sleepover, 12 screaming girls in the house. And what movie did we watch? Mean Girls. That was the movie that finally just got everyone to just sit down.
Quiet.
Just sit down. Well, this is after someone decided to put on a, we decided to roast marshmallows in the backyard because it's 12 girls in October. What do? You roast marshmallows. Great fall activity. You know what makes it an even better fall activity? Your father coming out of the bushes in a trench coat with a butcher knife covered in ketchup. And all the screaming girls run screaming. Most of them never came back over, I don't think. They went home traumatized.
That was his plan.
Probably was his plan.
They also went to the recording studio and recorded a bunch of songs.
Yes.
And now we hear them and I go, hey, you were 10.
You're
now you're a doctor.
JoJo, leave, get out.
Joe, we just heard that the other day.
We just heard it the other day.
No, you listening to anything right now? What do you think of the chick in Lincoln Park? Did you hear about that?
Okay, I did.
Yeah.
So when it came out the other night, they did the concert the other day.
Yep.
I popped through on the video. They open the show with their brand new song. I love the new tune. Sounds great. But when she goes to sing Chester stuff, it don't work.
I've seen cover bands do Chester better, but then again,
Absolutely.
I don't want Ripper from Judas Priest. Like, they felt like a cover band when Rob Halford left, and you brought in a tribute singer. They made a great movie about it. Rockstar, Marky Mark.
Yeah.
Zach Wilde on lead guitar in that movie.
Jason
Bonham on
yeah.
drums.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else was in it. That was a great movie.
Jeff Pilson from Docking.
Yes,
And
and that
Foreigner.
movie
Yes.
holds up.
I love that movie.
We have date nights and we watch scary movies at times. We just watched one. It's a Netflix gimmick.
Deliverance.
Supposed to be a true story, and I was good. Did you look it up before we watched it?
I didn't look it up before we
Neither did
watched
I.
it. After we watched it, I did. And I don't know, anything with kids is probably the scary movie to me, because
Well, for anybody watching this though, when the kid walks up the wall backwards, hang on. They think the grandmother was helping them. Grandmother was in the room and alive in real life when that happened, and he didn't walk across the ceiling. Did you see this movie that we're talking about?
I am the biggest baby walking. I don't do horror movies.
You big, really? That's our gimmick, man.
It started when I was
don't
in
do horror
college.
movies.
Yeah,
I would come home when I was living at Temple.
because you used to watch
And-
Traveling Sisters of the Pants or some shit.
Well, okay, another movie that held up from book to screen when I was, 10, Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Thank you very much.
Whatever.
But no, any scary movie with a kid, put the kid in a box and ship him out. I'm good with it. I can't do it. If no, haunted kids, demonic kids.
So
Can't
he
do it.
doesn't like that stuff. This is perfect. We're going to start with you. What do you think? And I know you're not like losing sleep over it, of the Vince McMahon thing coming on Netflix. And what is that? 2 weeks ish? Isn't that right around there?
26th, I think.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
around.
What is it? A
2 weeks.
docuseries?
Yeah, they filmed over 200 hours with him before the lawsuits. Now, you know just as much about the business as some other people have ever, because you hear me talk, because I love the business of pro wrestling. I love the reasoning for things.
Spent a
this
lot
and
of
that.
time talking about that while watching wrestling together.
Yeah. So I
I
can't wait to get his opinion.
love a good docuseries, but I also love to pick apart a good docuseries.
You know more about Netflix
Mm.
than you do Vince, but you know enough about Vince.
And
Will Netflix?
knowing Vince.
WWE is going to Netflix in January, I believe. So do you want to go in on some broken glass?
About to say that plays it a little different because, knowing the business and knowing maybe the Vince McMahon side of the business, it's
Ratings, man.
what was he careful enough to say or not say when he's being filmed for a docuseries, and how real product placement promotion
He's
is.
gonna lie as he does about everything. What's your thought, brother? What are you looking forward to? And I don't mean are you looking forward to them blowing him up? What?
I think this documentary, and I've been talking about this on Facebook on my Chubby Dudley official page.
Chubby Dudley official page.
I feel they are going to absolutely fucking bury Vince McMahon. And here's my feelings about Vince McMahon. And Vince McMahon as a businessman, a innovator, a wrestling mastermind who completely changed the business, is a absolute inspirational human being to be able to take what was given to you and blow it into the absolute biggest thing ever. On that hand, Vince McMahon, the human being, is an absolute horrible, ugly piece of shit that Wheatley Vodka would not sponsor.
Shout out
So,
Wheatley Vodka.
I am glad Vince is out. I can't wait to see how they. This is going to be a build up and a complete implosion of the human being of Vince McMahon.
I'm hoping so. But then again, doesn't the sympathy vote then start once you blow him up? Isn't the timer going of some sympathy? That's the American culture.
I don't think
It's pro wrestling. You want the underdog. Vince has been the ultimate heel. He could be now the ultimate heel again. And then the comeback story in 2 years. I don't know. I don't know. I've had no pre-thought about this.
I don't know. I don't think there's any sympathy vote to be had. I'm the daughter of a man with 4 daughters who worked in the business, and I don't think you have a sympathy vote.
No.
Exactly. Because I think any man in the business who has daughters, sisters, wives cannot have a sympathy vote, because in a Vince McMahon world, you would never want your daughter, wife, sister, niece, cousin, dirty
that's the dirty
next
part
door
of
neighbor.
the wrestling business, and we'll just leave it. I'm not going to no finger. There's been people over the years since the since 1800s that are just so dirty. Carney in any business.
It's any
well.
business. Any business.
Absolutely. So, and again, I don't know what he did, and I'm not sticking up for him. I don't know what he did or what was consensual, whatever. That's none of my business. But I'm going to make it my business when that comes out, because I want to watch. And it's Netflix. We'll have a discussion about it the following Monday night. Every Monday night from 8 till 11. Sponsored by Wheatley Vodka. We will be giving you the best options you could have of tag team drinks, single drinks. And Kaitlyn just added, she's flashing signs over there. I don't know if you guys saw it. She wants to have a 4-way dance of seltzers every Monday night. This was not even in the schedule. Thank you so much for ruining my plan and all my printing that I already had done as usual. So we're got all these cool things, my brother. And part of this reason, again, is you and your podcast, your Facebook. And I know you started a new one. I forget what it was. Well, tell me later. Don't even worry about that one right now. I don't think. No. Well, I
don't even know.
Dude, there was 2 of them, and then there was one, and then I was done. I forget which one it was. It doesn't matter.
One and done.
Yeah, something like that. It is what it is. But again, the wrestling business is thriving, and Philadelphia is the hub of the United States. There's always been Memphis. There's always been Texas. There's always been California, the Samoans and all that. There's always been great areas, Florida. But Philadelphia has always maintained. And now with what you have spearheaded of raising the banner, I think that's amazing. Taking your time, your personal time doing that. When everyone goes to Bay's sites, his Chubby Dudley official, you will see a link to raise the banner. Please sign up. We need 1,000 signatures to get that thing raised with those 5 guys. They all deserve it. They've all taken one big bump or another. Not Larry, for Philadelphia. Larry Bay, he's taken. So we counted the other day. We watched all the videos that we had on video of Larry, and the over and under was double digits of 20 years of bumps for Larry Winters. But he went over. We found a match where he tripped a couple times. We gave him bumps. You
know what's crazy? Like, when I was promoting shows, it was hard for me to turn around. This was in the early 2000s, and book guys with like Larry and Tony, but they both came to me and they were like, "Yo, like, why aren't you booking us?" And I said, like, I don't have the money to like respectfully pay you guys. They're like, I don't care. Anything you can pay, we just want to work. And this was from both of them. And Larry, he bumped his fucking ass off. I said, Larry, you're going to get like 35 hours. You just took 30 bumps. I can't afford to pay you like hundreds of dollars now. He took the most bumps in one night than I saw in at that point the 15 years I knew him. I couldn't believe it.
I just always kidded him about that. I knew that he would take bumps. And I wasn't the only one that would kid him about that, obviously.
Well, he would say it himself.
I believe that's where I might have heard it. I'm not taking a bump. Quick payday and I'm out. Well, dude, this Monday night thing I'm hoping is going to be so cool. We're going to be having Xbox tournaments. We're going to be showing this podcast every Monday night. Kaitlyn's smiling face is going to be playing wrestling trivia. And it's not Stump You because it's just going to be a little easy. I can't give it away in the house. All this amazing ideas from Wheatley Vodka. I want to bring in people for watch-alongs, especially, people use the legend word differently. To me, you're a Philly legend, brother. Those of us that were there that started. I mean, we started that revolution from the TWA. Lawler, Memphis. I mean, let's be honest. That's where Joel took a lot of it from. But in Philadelphia, it was Joel into ECW. And, I'm so proud to have you as a friend, as my first and only planned Zoom guest, brother. Straight up. No, everyone else is going to be local. Next week.
Hell, I'd love to be there right in the middle of you guys.
Yeah. I saw this thing on, I was going to this site and it said, airline tickets, one and done. You can get one ticket and then I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Must be in my algorithm. I don't know. But Bay, thank you, brother. Chubby Dudley official. People follow us. We're gonna try to get each other bigger. He does some great podcasts. Old school TWA legends, old school ECW legends. I believe I was kind of proud that I hit 3 digits. I didn't know if I'd ever get 100 views on your podcast. And that was the only reason that I was able to come out from like behind the curtain a little bit and, put my...
You're the only one that hit 4 digits.
So I have a stalker. No, well, I do. How you doing, Beard? So, no, I do. And I don't know this. Who knows? Just kind of, I'm not kidding, but whatever. I love it, though. I hope our awareness that, we can all get together. All of us, everybody in Philadelphia, one way or the other, for pro wrestling. One and done. What do you think?
Let's just, I think we just need to do it one time and be done.
We need you to, we need you to answer your phone 5 times a day and spearhead it. Because apparently you're getting called 5 times a day about what we're late to the table with. Kaitlyn Nicole, thank you as always. I'm so appreciative of you here. I know this was before your time, but I just wanted the guy viewership is up when you're on. It is what it is. And, next week, Stephanie from Pet Friendly Dog Bakery in Manayunk, which I'm really excited about because she sells the best dog treats, cat treats up the street, and you give out the most pet friendly dog treats on my end of the street.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. And once again, my brother, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I love you guys.
I'll see you on Monday night at some point.
Absolutely.
Peace. Setting the record straight with my family.
YUNKJunk!